McFarlane will make anybody before Black Canary. Welcome to 5 Points of Articulation. Today, I'm taking a look at the McFarlane Toys Page Punchers Wonder Woman and the Red Platinum Steve Trevor. Or should I say, Stev. Page Punchers comes in these all-plastic clamshells. Names and logos down here. Steve, of course, is a Red Platinum, meaning he's only available in-store. If you're searching for him with apps like Brickseek, here's his UPC, and here's Diana's. It's interesting because if you look, it says that these come from Sensation Comics #1, but flipping them around, you'll see they each come with the same reprint of Wonder Woman #1. Either way, this is a fine inclusion and an important part of comics history, though as usual, I do question the logic of burying the logo for Page Punchers underneath the box where no one's gonna see it. That said, I do love the idea of using the comic book as the card art, and for packaging, Steve and Diana get 4 points. Moving on to presentation, and let's crack these two open. I accidentally cut myself. Be careful out there, kids. Out of the box, and Wonder Woman stands at a staggering 7 1/4 inches, or 18.5 centimeters, and shares parts with the classic style collector edition, which itself owes much of its engineering to Superwoman. That said, there are a lot of new parts here. For example, she has newly sculpted feet with high heels, hence why she's a bit taller than the collector edition. It's hard to tell, but her feet are ever so darker than the tops of her boots, but just standing on your shelf you're not likely to notice. This time the bracers are actually loose floating pieces, meaning the forearms were resculpted to be completely blank. I'm guessing that's so they can use them for a wider variety of female characters moving forward. On that note, the torso piece is completely resculpted, with the logo itself simply painted. Had they ditched the outline similar to the Disco Nightwing, I think it would have looked more natural, and had they done it in gold, it would have felt a lot like Linda Carter. The belt and skirt are also new. It's sufficiently star-spangled, and color-wise matches the collector edition pretty well. Also like the collector edition, there's a bit of a dead spot here, similar to this one here. One thing I'm really taken by is the face. To my eye, it doesn't really look like the comic exactly, but just something about it has the feeling of an old-school Hollywood beauty, kind of like a Hedy Lamarr type. The eyes and makeup are particularly crisp, though I am a bit baffled by the choice to shade the cheeks with yellow, as it does make her look a little bit jaundiced. Also, similar to the logo, I do wish that the tiara had been gold, mainly just to make it feel more in tune with this. The good news is that the skin tones are a darn near perfect match, so if you wanted to do some part swaps or other customizing, you absolutely could. Steve Trevor, by contrast, is only 7 inches, or 18 centimeters, meaning that Wonder Woman is a bit taller. Leastways this one. Again, this one is in heels. The standard version is still taller, but not that much. Now, I went through just about every DC Multiverse figure I could think of, but I couldn't find any matching parts, meaning that this might just be an all-new sculpt. To be perfectly honest, I'm blown away. For the longest time, I feel like I've just been looking at endless repaints, so this is a breath of fresh air. I'm particularly taken by the attention to detail, painting all the medals and buttons. Same thing with the buckles and straps. Once again, very nice, classic-looking face. Kind of reminds me a bit of the now late Robert Redford. Wonderful detail on the hat, and as always, I'm loving the texture. The old-style ball joints made me think that the boots at least had to be reused, but again, I can't find any matches. I can say with complete confidence that Steve Trevor has never been on any of my personal wish lists, but McFarlane Toys has absolutely knocked him out of the park. Overall, this Diana looks great, and while things like a sculpted logo or gold accents could have gone a long way to make it even better, I'm happy. Steve, on the other hand, is not only a wonderful surprise, but in my opinion, looks even better. For presentation, I'm giving Wonder Woman 4 points. Steve Trevor, however, gets 5 points. If you're enjoying this video so far, do me a favor and give it a like. Moving on to Poseability, and both figures have a couple of unique features. One thing that's not unique, however, is the dumbbell in the neck. Each character can look this high, with Diana having a much better range than I expected given her hair. Here they are looking straight ahead, and here's looking down. Excellent amount of tilt. I imagine this is how Wonder Woman looked when she saw a man for the first time, and all the way around. It's not a versus, but between the two, 2, Wonder Woman gets the higher arm raise, but both have multi-directional rotator cuffs and complete rotation. Working our way down the arm, and both figures have bicep swivel, along with deep bending DC Multiverse double jointed elbows and wrist balls that can swivel and hinge in any direction. Keep in mind though that the cuff does get a little bit in the way. Moving to the middle, and that's where things get interesting. Similar to previous Wonder Women, and all of Diana's torso articulation is in the waist, whereas Steve's torso is a rubber overlay with articulation within. Keep in mind he has this very long coat between the two, and Diana definitely gets the deeper arch back. For contrast, and here standing straight, with neither of them really being able to hunch that far forward. Even the side to side is really limited, but at the very least both can twist. Below the skirts or long jackets, and both have the standard McFarlane hips. Again though, and both have a very limited kick, though the back on Diana is pretty good, as well as the split. Steve's split isn't too bad, but would have benefited from some tiny cuts here. Working our way down the leg, and both have twist in the hip, though admittedly Steve has barely any. That said, I'm pleased to report that both have a perfect bend on their double jointed knees. No toticulation for Wonder Woman. Steve has it though, but both figures have McFarlane ankle balls that can swivel, hinge, and like Wonder Woman, going from a skirt to shorts to even shorter shorts to eventually a battle skirt. Pivot. Given some of the engineering limitations, I do think the articulation's good, so for Poseability, these two get 4 points. Moving on to Playability, and both figures come with trading cards. I really like this picture that they picked for Diana. In fact, it's actually from the cover of Sensation Comics #1, lending credence to my theory that that's the comic that was supposed to come with these two. It's not a problem. I'm mainly just curious about what went on behind the scenes. Otherwise, each figure comes with a stand. They've been stamped with the new old logo. In terms of accessories, all Steve has is this gun. I'm no gun expert, but I think this is supposed to be a Colt 45. Speaking of which, and Diana comes preloaded with a right-handed trigger and a left-handed fist. She also comes with a left-handed trigger as well as a right-handed fist, plus a pair of open hands, with the only other accessory I would have asked for being her golden lasso. But Playability is more than comics, hands, and handguns. It's also about how well your figure plays with others. Starting with Steve, and for just a general range of DC Multiverse sizes, here's Nightfall and Hush versions of Batman. But for some other McFarlane Toys lines, and here's Berserker and the Mortal Kombat 11 version of Spawn. For those wondering if you could get away using this as Steve Rogers, and here's the Disney Store and Avenging versions of the Marvel Select Captain America. I unfortunately don't have the 2024 Classic version. Surrounding Steve with angels, and here's a small assortment of non-DC Multiverse Dianas. That said, I mainly just want to focus on Wonder Woman, so starting with the Justice Society, here she is with Alan Scott. Here's the Platinum Hawkman, who scales pretty well. As for the Flash, I thought I'd bring out both Jay Garrick and the Rival, mainly for those who prefer that darker color scheme and might want to do some part swaps. On the subject of lighter and darker color schemes, and here's the regular and Platinum Edition versions of the digital Dr. Fate. I never did get around to reviewing him, but if you'd like to see it, let me know in the comments. Same thing with the Target exclusive Wildcat. Branching into Earth 2 territory, and we have the similarly sized Power Girl, which was also based off the Wonder Woman body, along with the Earth 2 version of Robin, and the haggard Earth 2 version of Superman. This brings us to a much more important comparison, Superman from the cover of Action Comics #1. Times like this, I really do wish I had the Platinum Edition. While I'm here, I have gotten requests for a head swap between this Superman and the Page Puncher Shazam. Now, I'm pretty sure they mainly just wanted to see the Superman head on the Shazam body, and I gotta say, this looks really good. It has that kind of sort of Fred McMurray quality that Alex Ross goes for in his artwork. Just keep in mind that the skin tones don't match. Of course, for my preferred classic Superman, and here we have the Max Fleischer version, but just to cover our bases with basic Superman bodies, and here's the Atomic Skull and Walmart versions of Action Comics 1000. For the next most important comparison though, and here's Detective Comics 27 Batman. Next up is Silver Age, but let's be honest, this could definitely work on your Golden Age shelf too. Also, and somehow I got my figures mixed up and I forgot to show you the Silver Age Superman, so here's what that looks like. As for some other Wonder Womanses, and here we have Last Night on Earth, Dark Knight's Death Metal, Superwoman, who, while not Diana, did give us a lot of parts for her, the very cozy looking Endless Winter, Shazam, Mayhem, Fury of the Gods, which is the closest thing we have to a rebirth version until this Godzilla 2-pack comes out. Lastly, and once again, the classic style collector edition. For a relative scale comparison, here's Wonder Woman with Pizza Spidey and the spectacular Spider-Man. And as always, here she is with Stealth Iron Man. Aren't we missing something? Nah, girl, we got everything we need right here. I'm talking about Stev. What's a Stiv? If this is your Golden Age trinity, then Wonder Woman does skew a little bit on the large side, but if this is your preference, I think it's perfect. Between the hands and comic, I'm pretty happy with Wonder Woman, and that's to say nothing about filling another hole in the Justice Society. Obviously, it would have been nice if Steve came with more than just a sidearm, but his great strength is being able to slot into other 7-inch scale lines as a generic military figure. For playability, I'm giving Steve Trevor 4 points, but Wonder Woman gets 5 points. This leaves us with nothing left to discuss but the price. Depending on where you get them, both figures retail for about $28, but Steve is a red platinum, meaning you can only find him in stores. Thanks to the included comic, I do feel the value in these more so than, say, the recent digital figures. Still, these current costs make it hard not to yearn for the Golden Age. For price, I'm giving Wonder Woman 4 points, averaging out to a grand total of 4.2 out of 5, with the harder to find Steve Trevor getting 3 points, averaging out to a grand total of 4 out of 5. Sound off in the comments to let me know what you think, and while you're down there, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any upcoming videos. For more Wonder Woman, check out one of these, and until next time, play nice and have fun. The standard version is still taller, but and like Wonder Woman going from a skirt to shorts to even shorter shorts to eventually a battle skirt. Pivot. Additionally, both figures come with trading cards.